She said something that made Salahuddin Ayyubi stop in his tracks. For a moment, even he didn't respond, because what she revealed wasn't just about her. It pointed to something far more dangerous, something already spreading within his own land. And this wasn't a battlefield. This was something Salahuddin couldn't defeat with a sword. So tell me, what do you think she really revealed? Was it the truth, or something far more dangerous? Ignore shorts below. And if you enjoy powerful stories from Islamic history, consider subscribing to Islamic Conquests. Inside a guarded chamber away from the noise of the city, Salahuddin Ayyubi listened in silence. Before him stood Ali bin Sufyan, one of his most trusted men, reporting what had been uncovered. But even he seemed unsettled, as if the truth he carried was heavier than expected. 5 men had been taken aside. All of them belonged to the same tribe, the very tribe linked to the abduction. At first they denied everything, calmly, boldly, without fear. That in itself was unusual, because men facing punishment often break quickly. But these men didn't, not even under pressure. And that was the first sign that something deeper was protecting them. Ali bin Sufyan had tried reason, then persuasion, even promises of safety. Nothing worked. And so he was forced to take a harsher path. They were separated, questioned alone, pushed beyond their limits. The kind of methods that leave no room for lies, the kind that break even the strongest. But what happened next surprised even him. They endured it for hours, through the night, without giving anything away. That level of silence was not normal. It meant one thing, but not fear of punishment. Fear of something else, something stronger, something they believed in, and that changed everything. I know everything, he said quietly, but I was told never to speak. Ali bin Sufyan stepped closer. Then speak now, he said. The man hesitated. Your punishment here is certain, Ali added, but whatever you fear may not be greater than what stands in front of you. The man looked at him, eyes filled with something deeper than pain. They will kill me, he whispered. Ali replied calmly, you are already close to death. Choose which truth you want to face. There was a long silence, and then he began. What he revealed changed the entire direction of the investigation. He spoke of a tribe, not just violent, but deeply rooted in old beliefs, rituals passed down for generations, traditions that existed long before Islam reached those lands. But what mattered most was what they still practiced. Every few years, they gathered. A festival, they called it. But behind that gathering was something far darker. People think it happens every few years, the man said. But that is not true. Ali listened carefully. The gathering happens often, but the sacrifice. He paused, struggling to continue. That happens only once in many years. The room fell silent. The word had been spoken, sacrifice. What happened next made it even more disturbing. They don't choose from their own people, he continued. The girl must be different, not from us. Fair, from a respected family. Ali's expression hardened, because that meant this was not random. This was planned, targeted. The man continued, and this time they chose her, the same girl. The one brought back, the one whose story had already raised questions. But now, those questions were turning into something real, something organized. Ali asked, how was she taken? The man lowered his head. The 4 men went, the others helped from inside. Inside, that word carried weight. Because it meant the system was not outside the city, it had reached inside it. And what happened next confirmed it. He revealed how guards had allowed entry, how timing was planned, how escape was secured. This was coordination. And suddenly, everything Salahuddin had heard before began to connect. But the most critical part was still to come. Where did they take them? Ali asked. The man looked up slowly. To a place no one goes, he said. They place people fear, he described it. A hidden region, not far from where the gatherings happened. A strange land surrounded by desert, yet filled with greenery and elevation. An isolated place, almost untouched. People believed it was safe. Some said spirits lived there. Others said no one who entered returned the same. And that belief kept people away, which made it the perfect place to hide something. Ali didn't interrupt, because now the truth was unfolding on its own. The man continued. Old, from ancient times, and the priest? Ali asked. The man nodded slowly. He lives there. The priest, the one the girl had spoken about, the one who controlled everything. And then came the part that explained everything she had said earlier. They give her something, the man said. Ali narrowed his eyes. What? A flower. A strange answer. But the man continued. A flower with a scent. That changes the mind. Silence. Because now, her behavior made sense. The confusion, the calm, the strange belief that she was a chosen. It wasn't natural, it was induced. They make her forget, he said, who she is, where she came from, everything, the weight of those words, because this was no longer just physical control. This was something deeper. They weren't just taking girls, they were rewriting them. And that realization changed everything. He asked one final question. What happens after that? The man closed his eyes. They keep her for days, then take her to the place of sacrifice. The room fell into complete silence, because now there was no doubt left. This was real, and it had been happening for years. Ali bin Sufyan didn't waste a moment. He had what he needed, and now it had to reach Salahuddin, because what he would decide next would not just save one life. It would determine whether this system continued or ended forever, and that decision was about to be tested. Shoo! The chamber remained still as Ali bin Sufyan finished his report. Salahuddin Ayyubi did not speak immediately. He stood over the map laid before him, his eyes fixed, his mind moving far ahead of everyone else in the room. Every detail he had just heard was settling into place, not as isolated events, but as a pattern, a system, and now it was no longer hidden. If this location is correct, he said slowly, his voice calm but firm, then it lies within our authority. No one interrupted, because they understood what that meant. This was no longer just information. It was responsibility. He continued, pharaohs have long turned to dust, yet their ways remain. The room grew heavier. The Salahuddin was not just speaking about a tribe. He was speaking about something deeper, a mindset, a corruption that had survived time itself. As Muslims, he said, if we cannot reach the farthest corners, then we must begin with what is closest. His words were not loud, but they carried weight, because they made one thing clear. This was not about revenge, it was about duty. And what happened next shifted the focus completely. But do you realize, he said, looking at those around him, how many daughters may have been taken like this? No one answered, because no number would have been enough. And while this continues, he added, what else is happening in that gathering? Ali stepped forward slightly. My Sultan, our scouts have reported something disturbing. Salahuddin looked at him. There are men, Ali continued, from within our own ranks, and from among the wealthy who attend these gatherings. A quiet shock passed through the room. They go there, not to stop it, but to benefit from it. That was the moment the truth became even darker, because this was no longer just an external threat. It had roots inside. And Salahuddin understood it instantly. This was how systems survive, not by hiding completely, but by being quietly accepted. That, Salahuddin said, is the greater danger. Tusuk, his voice lowered slightly, and not just the act itself, but the silence around it. He paused, because now, the decision in front of him was clear. This was not something to observe, it was something to end. But what happened next showed the kind of leader he truly was. Ali stepped closer and spoke carefully. My Sultan, there is still time. Salahuddin turned his gaze toward him. The gathering begins soon. If we act quickly, we may still save her. That was the moment the emotional weight of it shifted. Because now, it was no longer just about exposing the truths. It was about saving a life, a single life, that represented many others. Ali added, and if she is returned safely, it will also make clear that the accusation against you was false. For a brief moment, the room waited. Because they knew this was personal. The accusation had been heavy, unjust, public, and now there was a chance to clear it completely. But Salahuddin's response revealed everything about his character. I am not concerned with that, he said calmly. The room fell silent, because his answer was immediate, direct, without hesitation. "Well, my concern is not my name," he continued. "My concern is what is happening to this land." Those words settled deeply, because they made something clear. This was never about him. It was about responsibility, about protecting what others had failed to protect. He stepped closer to the map. "This ends now," he said, not loudly, but with finality. And in that moment, the direction was set. Orders were given immediately. Messengers were sent across the army. A no soldier, Salahuddin commanded. His to attend that gathering. His tone hardened slightly. "And anyone who disobeys will be punished publicly." Because he knew discipline had to come first. Before action, before confrontation. Then he called his commanders forward. He says the breaking of a deception that had lasted for years. A deception that had turned crime into ritual and silence into acceptance. "We are not just going to stop them," he continued. "We are going to expose them, because that was the only way to end it fully." The room began to move. Plans were forming. Routes were discussed. Positions assigned. But beneath all of it was something deeper, a realization that this moment was not just about a hidden tribe. It was about a test of leadership, of justice, of responsibility. And Salahuddin Ayyubi had made his choice, not for power, not for reputation, but for what was right. And that choice would change everything that followed. If this story made you think, take a moment to like, comment, and share your thoughts. And if you want more powerful, real stories from Islamic history, subscribe to Islamic Conquest. Because some moments in history don't just tell us what happened. They show us what should be done.